The Eye of the Needle, Hebrew, Sha'ar Harakamim, Gate of Mercy, is a narrow gate in Jerusalem's Old City, specifically in the walls surrounding the Temple Mount. It's about 1.8 meters, 6 feet, wide, making it the narrowest of the 8 gates. The gate is so named because it was believed that only those with pure intentions and a willingness to humble themselves could pass through it. The gate is also known for being the supposed entrance point of Jesus Christ when he entered Jerusalem on Palm Sunday, as described in the Bible. The Eye of the Needle, gate in Jerusalem is often mentioned in relation to a passage in the Bible, but there's some confusion and debate about its historical reality. 1. Biblical reference. The concept comes from a passage in the Gospels where Jesus says, "It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God," Matthew 19 verse 24, Mark 10 verse 25, Luke 18 verse 25. 2. Traditional interpretation. Some have interpreted this as referring to a small gate in Jerusalem's walls, supposedly called the Eye of the Needle, through which a camel could only pass if it were stripped of its load and made to kneel. 3. Historical evidence. However, there's no clear historical or archaeological evidence of such a gate actually existing in Jerusalem during Jesus' time. 4. Alternative explanations. Many scholars believe Jesus was using hyperbole, exaggeration for effect, rather than referring to an actual gate. The phrase may have been a common metaphor of the time for something seemingly impossible. 5. Later origins. The idea of a physical Eye of the Needle gate likely emerged centuries after Jesus' time as an attempt to explain the metaphor. 6. Modern misconception. Despite the lack of historical evidence, the concept of this gate has become popular in some religious teachings and tourist information. The question is, does the gate exist? Certainly. No, the Eye of the Needle gate as described in the popular interpretation does not actually exist and never did in historical Jerusalem. To be clear. 1. There is no archaeological evidence of such a gate in Jerusalem from the time of Jesus or any other period. 2. No historical documents from the relevant time periods mention such a gate. 3. The idea of this gate being a real place in Jerusalem only emerged centuries after Jesus' time, likely as an attempt to explain his metaphor. 4. Scholars and historians generally agree that this gate is a myth, not a historical reality. The confusion likely arose from attempts to interpret Jesus' words literally rather than understanding them as a vivid metaphor or hyperbole. The image of a camel trying to pass through a needle's eye was meant to illustrate something seemingly impossible, not to refer to an actual location in Jerusalem. It's important to note that while this specific gate doesn't exist, Jerusalem does have many ancient gates and rich archaeological history. However, none of these correspond to the Eye of the Needle, as described in the popular interpretation of Jesus' saying. Certainly there is no Eye of the Needle gate.